Hello and welcome to the Solopreneur Survival Summit. I'm Nadine Nicholson of NadineNicholson.com, and I'm on a mission to help solopreneurs, aka solo entrepreneurs, drive business and get more money and energy without working more hours. Not that long ago, I wondered if it's even possible to grow my business without it completely taking over my life. I thought being my own boss meant freedom, yet I felt chained to my business. The problem was I wasn't in the driver's seat. I let my business take over. I tried doing everything myself and was too tired to change it. The moment I stepped into the driver's seat and started to calling the shots in my own business was the moment everything started to change for the better. Most entrepreneurs start their businesses for freedom, financial health, family harmony, and the ability to make a meaningful contribution. I found the ingredients that make this combination work. I put these elements into 5 simple steps, and I'm sharing them in this Telesummit event. So whether you have an existing business or you're starting one, whether your business needs a bit of fine-tuning or a complete overhaul, this entrepreneurial system gives you what you need when you need it the most. During each expert interview, we'll dig into the areas that will help you and your business survive and thrive. You'll learn from the experiences of our team of experts. Each person was handpicked for the experience and expertise she brings. Our goal as a team is to give you real-life, no-nonsense advice. So listen up and soak in what you're about to hear. Okay, so please join me in welcoming Jackie McKay to the summit. Hello, Jackie.
Hi, Nadine.
Hey. So Jackie teaches soul-inspired natural health practitioners the heart-centered how-to of attracting ideal clients, making more money, and making a name for themselves in their purpose-centered healing business. Jackie, I first met you at, it was your vision board workshop in Calgary a few years ago, and I knew then that I would find a way to work with you someday. And I just want to welcome you and thank you for being part of this event.
Thanks, Nadine. Thank you.
So before we get into the interview, Jackie, I'd just love you to tell us a bit about your business, the kind of work you do, who you do it for, and just so our listeners can get to know you a bit better.
Okay. First of all, thank you for handpicking me for this event.
I
feel really grateful to be a part of your team because I just adore you and think you're awesome. So who am I? Well, I'm a prosperous practice mentor, and so really, what I do is I help women who have that go be who you are bug, that inner calling. And women who've specifically heard their call of inspiration to be doing healing or holistic or coaching type work. But, most of these women seem to be struggling with fears, and there's a lot of business overwhelm on how to run a business and how to attract clients. And even though there's a lot of information out there, there's a whack load of it. So it's still a big unknown to clients. And what I do is I help my clients to connect with their inspiration, and at which point that really gives them a deep sense of peacefulness around their business and why they're doing it. And then I help them to attract clients to their business so that they can have a business that actually has their heart sing. And I've created something called the Healers Who Prosper Roadmap, and it's basically an 8-step roadmap, and it takes my clients through the business building steps to attract clients.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. And I've really seen your business grow and evolve, and really see you getting clear about who you love to help the most, and who you're most positioned to serve, I would say, as well, uniquely positioned to serve. So, Jackie, what do you love about what you do? Like, what do you love the most?
Oh, you know what? I love everything, but I do, but I'm not going to say it's perfect. I will not say that, because I think really we all deep down know that running your own business is not perfect, because it's really it's really busy. But, what I do love is that I get to wake up in the morning and I know in my heart that what I'm doing is what I was meant to be doing with my life on this earth. And I love that I'm helping others to embrace their own inspiration and their calling to make this world a better place, because this planet right now, we need a lot of healing on this planet, and the planet in general and people in general. And so I feel so blessed to have an understanding of the business stuff, which is my background, which I've always loved. It's fascinated me on how businesses work. But then I also love being woo-woo or having a spiritual background. And so I feel really blessed, and I love blending the two together and being able to bring both of that together to help other people express their own full creativity of their heart and what it is that they're meant to be doing, and people who have the same values as I do. And then the coolest part is that I get to watch these people make a really difference on this planet, and that they get to have a really big impact too. So, and then the great parts about having a business is that you really do get to create your own schedule, and you get to have the capacity to earn as much as you want. You can be as busy or not as busy. So there's a lot of freedom as well. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for that. So one of the reasons I created this telesummit was because the women I find showing up in my business and the ones I see out there in social media and in networking and things like that I do, they started their own business for the freedom, flexibility, and independence, but they often find themselves overwhelmed and wondering if it's all worth it. Certainly I've asked myself that question more than once before. So they're overworked, hungry for more time, they're craving time, they're not getting the results that they thought they would, and yet they're destined to make a huge impact. Like they know that they can make a big impact, and they want to make their business work. And they don't want to have to get a job or work for someone else, and they want to be able to have the impact that they're born to make. Get the family harmony, have the flexibility through their business and create family harmony. Get financial health, all those things. So what I found is there's about five steps in my system, at least has 5 steps that have to happen to get the thriving business and lifestyle. And I start by helping my clients get really clear and focused on their own unique vision of a thriving business and lifestyle. And I think that's really important because everyone, it's easy to compare ourselves. We can look at, other women in business and see what they're doing. There's always more than meets the eye. There's always more that happens behind the scenes. And it doesn't mean that that business is the definition of our own unique vision for our own business.
Right.
So when we think about designing a vision for your business, like when you think about sort of staying in the driver's seat of that, what do you do, Jackie, to be in and stay in the driver's seat of your own future and not distracted by what doesn't fit?
I love this question so much. And the reason I love it is because I found myself there with my own practice and building my own practice. And, what landed on my lap, despite all the coaching skills that I have, it literally like fell off of a bookshelf for me was A Course in Miracles. So that's a spiritual practice, and there's no dogma involved, there's no religious, it's a psycho-spiritual universal practice. And so what I've learned for my own self is my need to meditate. So I really, and that's part of my program, and it's really important because of exactly what you said, that we tend to compare ourselves to others. When people have gone ahead of us, we don't feel good enough, and then otherwise we feel, and we can tend to feel a little bit small. We can tend to get all these emails in our inboxes and watch what other people are doing, and then think, well, what they're doing is better, and they're so much faster, or whatever. And so I feel like having some sort of a meditation practice or something to come back to every day that grounds you in the person that you are here and you're meant to be. Because a part of A Course in Miracles says that there's no other person like you on this planet. Nobody is like you. Isn't that so cool? And so when we get to breathe into our own inspiration of who we are as our own people and connect with that on a daily basis, then I believe that our spiritual practice becomes the backbone of our practice, because it's the guiding light. I mean, it basically centers us into our intuition, into our internal guidance system, which is something a lot bigger than us. And then when we can allow that to run the show, it's like then there's no competition. We're doing what feels right in our own souls and our own hearts. We're creating our own boundaries. We're not looking outside of ourselves for approval. And it's constantly just going back into ourselves saying, hey, is this right for me? Is this good for me? Are my boundaries okay? How much do I want to work? What are my business goals like? And it's just a continual looking into yourself. And I do it in my spiritual practice morning and night. And that's what I suggest for my own clients.
What does that look like for you, Jackie? Like when you say your spiritual practice, is it like practically? What's the practice like practically?
Practically, that means waking up, going downstairs, having a quick pee, going right back upstairs, and sitting on my meditation pillow. And with the Course in Miracles, there is a daily mantra for 365 days of the year. And so you go through that mantra, and it leads you. And the idea is that it's breaking down your fear, and you're building up your love for yourself, which is what so many of us don't have, and reconnecting yourself to the loving space within ourselves that we've forgotten about, and to our own full potential of who we are. So it's really sitting on a mat, and it's taking some deep breaths, and it's focusing on a mantra, and it's imagining, light beaming in this world, and imagining my place in it. And where do I feel like I'm guided to be? And so that's just a small part of my practice. And then, of course, at the end of the day is another practice, which is just, taking stock of all of the accomplishments and blessings and people that have come through my life.
Yeah. Thank you. So, there's one thing to have a big vision and to sort of see, really look at how we stay in the driver's seat of that future and not distracted by what doesn't fit for us. A whole nother level is really looking at our role in our big vision, how we fit, what we do, what we love doing the most, what we're best at, all of those things. So another area that comes up here is messaging and really standing out with our ideal clients. So I'm curious on that for you, Jackie, is what are you doing in your own business to help your own messages really stand out with your ideal clients?
Well, something that I'm doing is blending my A Course in Miracles practice, and it's that's the biggest thing. And here's the deal. This is what it's about, okay? Because when I started running those vision board workshops with you, what I found was people would start creating these vision boards, and they would have these really big fat goals for themselves. And then what would happen is they would look at their vision boards, and they wouldn't attain their goals, and they would beat themselves up. It's almost like they would find that they got really ambitious because we say, go big, be ambitious, go as big as you want. But you know what happens when we're ambitious? It freaks us out. Yes, because we're not ready for it. We're not ready for it. And so what's happening, I'm finding in the industry, is there's a lot of these great emails out there that say, we're going to help you build 6 figures in 6 days. Or there's messages out there about, come on, 7-figure practices. And, I love abundance. I love money. I love what I can do with it. I'm not against it. But what I say to my clients is instead of building it from the place of, I'm going to make $15,000 a month, let's just start with your inspiration. What is that seed? What's that thing that's called you forth? What's that real calling? What is that inspiration that's speaking to you? And now let's look at, instead of using your business from a place of economic profitability, let's first connect to that place, and let's get really clear on your message, and let's set up vehicles in your practice to reach your people. And let's start with a goal. We use something called resonant pricing. So resonant pricing is something where you check in with yourself. Does that feel like it's too much of a stretch that you're going to freak out? Or does this feel like this is doable for me now? And so with my clients, I say, let's work with what's doable now, and let's work on that, and then we'll stretch a little bit more the next time. And so with my messaging, it becomes, let's work on your inspiration versus ambition, and let's stay with where you are right now, and let's work from that place, because you know what? When you do that, A Course in Miracles says you have a file in the universe with your name on it. And if you show up maturely and if you grow into who you're supposed to be, it is automatic that you're going to become that person and that your abundance will flow to you. Whatever capacity that you have within yourself to show up is the capacity that you will have financially returned to you. That's just how it works. So there's no reason to feel that you won't get that money. But let's start with your inspiration first. And that's the message that I love to share with my clients.
I love it. Love it.
Well, otherwise we get freaked out, right? And it's like ambition. But yeah, it doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve the planet. And it really is about, let's just help people. Let's start with that.
I love
Thanks.
the abundance feeling of it. You know, it's so easy to get to the scarcity. There's not enough money. There's not enough clients. Well, there are, and there is. There is enough. There is enough, and we're enough, and everyone is enough. And I love that. Awesome. So, you know, I also look at, when I look at the vision, I look at the person's role in the vision, is also to look at what's getting in the way of the vision. You know, what are some of the blocks or obstacles? And so one of the areas that we look at is vitality, and mindset comes under there. So one thing I'd love to know from you, because, you know, I've known you for a while now, and you do keep a really healthy mindset. What tips do you have for maintaining a healthy, positive mindset as an entrepreneur? You know, things that you do yourself. I know you already talked about meditation. What else do you do? What other practical things do you do that you found work for you and work for your clients?
There are, you know what, there's 3 things that I help my clients with. The first thing, and this is the reason why I have created a group program, is the first thing is you need to surround yourself with people who are as inspired as you are and who are as crazy nuts about doing what you want, to do as a business owner, and who really get you.
I love it. Yeah, and understand. So, yes, don't think you're crazy.
Yeah, and who are like, well, of course it's crazy and it's good. Let's go. You know, who can really stand in the fire with you and say, let's become fiercely responsible for this and let's do it. So really having somebody who can call you forth, that's a coaching term, but it's having somebody who can go, yes, you can do it, because the deal is we always think smaller of ourselves until somebody else can go, I know you can do this, right? So really, there's never enough support. There's never enough support. So there's that. But then there's also, you know, I have my clients track. They do a daily success journal. And the reason is this. I don't know if you've heard of the dangling carrot theory. I'm pretty sure it's called that. But the idea is it's the same thing as having a vision board. So vision boards are wonderful. But the deal with them is when we have these really big fat goals for ourselves and we don't achieve them, we actually self-sabotage ourselves if we think, I'm not enough. I failed, I was horrible, I didn't do it, and we just become guilty, and we just, it just works like that, right? We do that to ourselves. So what I have them do, instead of yes, you have a really big goal for yourself, but not only that, I have my clients create a success journal. And so part of their job is to, and literally it's in their job and their homework, you write every single day every tiny little thing that happened. And for example, today I showed up at a networking meeting and I felt really comfortable in my skin. Today I finished a piece of my webpage. Today I reached out to a client who could use my help, whatever it is. But you need to journal those things and you add them up to however many, right? And you just go through your entire day of everything that you're really proud of. And then you look from that point at the end of the year at everything that you accomplished. And then you go, holy crap, did I ever come a long way? Because otherwise, when we look forward, we're never going to reach that carrot. The carrot's always bigger than who we are in that moment. And so really the biggest tip to manage those voices is to look backward. That's
and
probably...
to take it, and I love how you take it day by day, because so many positive things can happen in a day. And by the end of the week, if we don't write down the achievements in the day, we'll forget many of the achievements that actually happened. And I agree.
Yeah, we'll forget them. And not only that, though, but our negative voices are so much louder that not only will we forget the 20 amazing things, but we'll focus on that one tiny bad thing that didn't go our way. Right?
Right.
And so it's like a little trickster in our head. You really got to monitor that guy.
Oh, the human mind is an incredible thing.
Yeah, it is. It totally is.
So going from looking at obstacles is really moves into vitalizing the business and lifestyle. Really, that's where we know our vision, we know where we fit, we have our messages, we know what's in the way, and we're starting to really, I call it vitalize. Really put some life into the business, into ourselves, make some changes. Celebrate what's working and fix what's not. So what's one system or tool that you've leveraged in your business that's been a game changer for you?
What I've done, well, I have a fantastic virtual assistant, and so that is huge because I was doing so much of the bookkeeping, invoicing, all that stuff that you stay up until 1 o'clock to do that you could totally give somebody else to do. And not only that, I realized that I was working on non-money making activities, which was getting me nowhere. So by leveraging my time, I've actually been able to do a lot more marketing and work on, on money-making activities and give away things that just aren't my strengths and that other people can do a lot faster than me. So even like creating websites, design work, stuff like that people love taking off my plate. So that's one. And then the other thing is probably with that, you and I were talking about this briefly, but it's setting up a system with the person who works with you as well. So that, again, it's always about looking at doing things one time only, and creating a really effective system for it so that you're not having to, like your emails. So many people just go in, they just, check their email boxes and then that's it, but you have to have a strategy or a way that you can organize your thoughts so that you can do it consistently so that it makes it really efficient and clean for you. So having a process like that you can work with your own assistant with as well helps, and giving them guidelines to set up how you work with each other has been amazing in the communication process and just, getting things off my plate in a really clean way. Those two things, great. And then really quickly, having business development days. So working, and setting out a plan for my day and creating the intention of what needs to be done, not stretching it too big, but almost sometimes laughable of what I can get done. And having those business development days and clustering client appointments has made a world of the difference of being able to accomplish a lot more with my time.
Oh yeah. I have a quick question. I love everything you just said. It's I think really, really helpful in ways that you've leveraged your business or your time. When you think about your the processes that you're talking about and systemizing them, is that a word? Systemizing them. Like imagine there's listeners out there who maybe don't have a VA yet, or they might have a VA that they're not using to the full capability. What would you recommend, or how did you do this? What would you recommend to our listeners how would they go about asking their VA or, for something like this practically? What do they need to say to make this
a really awesome tip is to, first of all, the best way that I work with my VA is I constantly tell her I love her. I have to tell you that because then she's like, we've created a connection, and then she's really happy to help me, which is great. So that's step number one, is always being appreciative. But number two is to say, okay, when you help me to do something, for example, like if you're going to help me set up my newsletter this week, what I would really appreciate for you to do would be to write down the steps that you took to complete this task. So, for example, cut and paste the content and put it into your one shopping cart. Bold these words 12 font using Times New Roman font. And, write down very mind-numbing steps. But then, let them know the processes so that in the future it's just so that you guys can communicate really clearly back and forth on what needs to be done, and nobody has to be reading each other's minds. So just, and I say, I would love to pay you to take the time to write down these systems and then track them on future use whenever we're going to be working on this type of project again. So that, it's just, what your job is, I know what my job is, and then it's all clean.
Great. Love it.
Yeah. Excellent.
So kind of bringing this interview home, one of the areas that I'd love to ask you about now is around evaluation. So, we might have a vision, we put it into practice, and we've got to evaluate our progress and then look at the next level of growth. So what advice can you share in this area, and what mistakes do you see other entrepreneurs making around evaluation?
Around evaluation, I think a really big thing that I see is tracking income. I see a lot of people not doing a lot of work, doing a lot of work, but they don't actually have some sort of system or something in place, even a basic spreadsheet. to track their income versus their expenses as they're going along. And I believe that part of evaluation, I mean, we're showing up in our world to be paid for what we're doing. And if you want to grow and leverage, you need to look at, well, where have I received fantastic income from? What resources brought me, this amount of income? And what then, if I want to build on my income and be smart about it, what do I need to do next to make that grow? And so you need to be tracking that, and it doesn't have to be hard. I mean, I have a really basic spreadsheet that I use every month, and I give it to a bookkeeper, and then I give her all of my receipts, and she tracks my expenses and tells me where I'm at, and then I can go, okay, well, if this is my goal that's on my vision board, then what else could I be doing to increase my income to supplement? Does it mean I need to give more things away that I don't enjoy doing? Does it mean that I need to be doing more teleseminars and more talks? And so it's about really looking at, depending on where you want to go, how you're going to get there, and then taking those steps. And again, really tracking your income, though. It's so important.
Could you do that on a monthly basis?
Yes.
Jackie? Okay, great.
Yeah.
I do a very similar exercise. I have a pretty basic Excel spreadsheet that I use FreshBooks as a tool to track my invoices, and the only problem with it is I can't link FreshBooks with one shopping cart. So whenever somebody purchases something online, I have to get an invoice in FreshBooks manually created. So that's a bit of a downside. But in FreshBooks, it is nice to be able to see everything, and it also allows me to track my expenses in there too. So it kind of automatically generates
a little report.
Reports, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jackie. So a couple quick things before we wrap up. I love this question. It's what's one thing that you wish you had done sooner in your business, or put more focus on?
I think I would have asked for more help earlier. In the beginning, I thought, I remember buying, excuse me, this book, does this blog site make my wallet look fat or something like that? And I remember trying to build my website, and I remember spending, 3 weeks on it and not enjoying any process of it. I could have really been using somebody else to help me. So I think for me, and even bookkeeping and, that kind of stuff, I love seeing the numbers, but I don't love inputting it. So, and I didn't realize that there's people out there and services out there that will help you do things, and they're not as expensive as what we think. I mean, there's something called Fiverr, Fiverr.com, where you can get people to help you to do certain little tasks, like set up a Facebook fan page, So getting people to help me with those tiny tasks earlier would have been great, because I think it would have gotten me to my end game a little bit sooner and with less hairiness. And I could have been more focused on doing the work that I love.
Love it. So, Jackie, please tell us how our listeners can get more information about you. Like, where can they find you?
Well, my site is called healerswhoprosper.com. So it's www.healerswhoprosper.com. And I have an ebook that I've created, and it's my own Healers Who Prosper step program. And the ebook's called Attract Clients with Clarity and Joy, Your 8 Steps to Becoming a Healer Who Prospers. And so that's my website. And if anybody's interested in receiving that free report, that e-guide, then that's there as well.
Great. Thank you for sharing your experience. I just learned even more about you today and what you believe, and some of the tools and tips you use for yourself and with your own clients. So thanks for sharing your experience, and I've just really appreciated it, and I've really had fun.
Thanks, Nadine. It's been a pleasure chatting with you and connecting again.
You're welcome. So this is Nadine Nicholson signing off for today's call with Jackie McKay. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.